Bonjour.
Hola.
Hey guys.
Top of the morning to you.
Welcome to the final episode of the Silo Podcast. What's good, homies and homeettes? We're so excited to be here as we wrap up today's season live on air with my lovely co-host. What's your name?
Gerald.
I'm Kenneth. Welcome. Let's get started. Gavin, I want to hear what the Oh yeah. We're throwing them for a loop today.
I know, right?
This is actually two different hosts for you audio listeners.
Exactly, right?
Gavin and Austin have left the building and we are here to party.
I know, they invited us to come on the podcast for the season opener.
Yeah.
Or closer.
Season final.
Man, it's been a night. I'm exhausted.
I think we've realized through all these recording episodes that recording at night is somewhat not the way to go, because we just start losing our marbles and we turn into brain cell 1 and 2 very quick.
Very true.
Very quick.
Or Gerald, and what was your name?
Kenneth.
Yeah. For those that are probably wondering why we were talking in these terms and why Austin went straight robotic for a couple seconds is if you didn't see, for the audio listeners out there, if you didn't see the YouTube video that just went live, we just had a party. Lights were on and off. It was straight clubbing, is what the cool kids say. And now we are.
Devin is saying that's not what this is not what the cool kids do.
Well, I've never been a cool kid anyways, so it doesn't really
I've never
matter.
been a cool kid anyway either. That's why we're here sitting in a room together recording stuff. We threw our own party.
We did throw our own party.
It's our party. We can do what we want to.
Exactly. It's our own party. And so this is our season finale for season 2. We're going to be off for probably a month or two, and then we'll be back better than ever than for season 3, which is crazy.
Yeah, we're going to take time to spend time with our families and friends for the holidays.
Exactly. We hope that you do the same. That if this is like, you've been like, I don't know what I'm doing, well, maybe this is a calling call for you so that you can actually like spend time with your family and friends.
Do it.
So for our last episode of the season, we wanted to kind of add some fun factor to it, add a little bit of a party scene, but then also we wanted to give the questions and the podcast to you guys and in your hands.
We handed it to you on a silver platter in our Instagram question story, and you guys delivered. You delivered on what we should be asking each other today. So we want to cover that. Yeah.
So I'll leave it up to you, Austin.
Okay, Gavin. We have this question in from, I have nothing written on my hand. What can be done in New York to improve the state of creation?
A lot.
I mean, okay, you're not wrong.
Because I think coming from somebody that wanted to leave York very much, like right out of high school, just wanted to get a van and just, hit the road and find somewhere else to be. Because York, for majority of the life that I've lived here, York has not been a creative scene, or it has been, but has not been a community creative scene.
Agreed.
And so there's a lot of things that people, I think there's this generalized mindset of just like York is York. I want to leave York. It's kind of dull. There's not really much that I can do here. There's almost that big city mindset of like, I need to get to somewhere that there's a lot more. And a lot of that can be true, because York is by no means a New York City or a Philadelphia. But we're York. And I think because of that, the best way that York can be in a creative scene is strictly, and this might be, we're biting our own tongues with this, but community is very key. And being able to find community and be able to be in community is where York's creative scene will begin. Because I think for the longest time, we're in this mindset of, I need to get out of York, so we become very, very individualistic of just, this is my story, this is my plan. And then therefore we leave York without even ever giving it a chance. or even being in York and living and actually giving people our creative side. And that might be a challenge, especially for those that are coming into York or have been here all of our lives without exploring as much as we can, and not really seeing anything. And for those people, I encourage you to actually, even if it's coming down for a first Friday on York, or coming down on a Friday or Saturday, or kind of checking up on your fellow York creatives. There's many different initiatives. I mean, there's Silo Community, there's the 717, and there's even just creatives. I mean, Helen, Older and Wiser. By looking up and actually investing in social media, and checking in and seeing what's going on, that's where the community starts, and that's where your creative can actually start getting involved with York. I think of the multiple different organizations, Parliament, Downtown York Inc. There's the Grotto. There's a bunch of local cafes like Prince Street that's showing art. That's where you want to be. It's. I think there's that also definition of like fine line of like, I only see what's going on Instagram. Doesn't seem like there's much, but then you actually get into York and there's a whole lot going on. And so I guess long-winded answer of it all being is you got to take the step to be involved in the community. And if you're not seeing the art and the focus that you want to see, then that's your niche. That's where you can actually get involved, and set things up so that there can be a creative focus here in New York, because there is a lot of bones. There is a lot of foundational things. But in order for it to be a community of art and to be actively pouring into, is you got to start somewhere. And so maybe that's your calling call. Maybe that's being like, hey, now's your time. Now's your chance. Get some people, get involved with Silo, get involved with some of the local organizations. Because at the end of the day, we're all involved in this together.
Yeah. I would just say, take a chance on York. I would echo everything that you said. Like, people have said, if you grow up here, you're either stuck or you're going to get as far away as you can from this place. Yeah. And honestly, I've also heard a lot of stories of even those people that go way out, somehow they find their way back in New York. And maybe it's not even like their choice, but they end up finding themselves back where they started, where they said they sworn they'd never come back to. And I don't know if that's a curse kind of thing or what, but I think if you give York a chance and stop seeing it in the negative light, and you try to break or at least see the good for what the good is, you'll find a lot more than what you thought you would. You have to look past Cindy said York is a bad place to be, so I agree and I believe her.
Cindy, and actually encourage you to come out.
Yeah, seriously. But I would say look past that opinion and actually not just take it at face value. Come to a First Friday. Yeah. Come hang out with us. Come hang out with anyone. This is by no means us self-promoting. There's literally so many tens of hundreds of thousands probably of people that would love for you to be a part, or you to be interested in their work in York. Yeah. And I get that it's harder potentially to find that stuff, and that's what turns people off to it, is it's not readily available. Yeah. But I totally agree with you in that if you don't see it, make it happen. And that's a huge something you can like capitalize on completely. Is if you're not seeing something in your niche or in the area that you're part of, I would say you need to stay there and become that person. Yeah. Because one, you have no competition then, which helps in many aspects of business, but also then you can be that point person from then on out, or the person that started the movement of insert blank here or insert your thing here. So I think to wrap this all up, how do you integrate arts better in New York? You have to be the art. You have to be that person. And that's what we've, to pitch ourselves a little bit, that's what we've said. We've said, okay, we see all these people with very strong foundations. We've seen all these people with very many talents. We have not seen them come together. We've not seen them express themselves on social media correctly. We've not seen them, all of those things. And so we're like, okay, you're amazing. Okay, you're amazing. Work together, do the thing, rise to the top. And I think that's just something that you can do outside of Silo. But another thing is Silo can help you do that as well.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. It's like, sure, let's say Lancaster is better at arts than York. Okay, Lancaster might be Silo in this scenario. It might be a quicker way to do things, but it's not the only way to do things. If you're in York, say, I don't know who you'd be. If you were anything, then Silo sure can be the competition that is Lancaster, but it might be harder to do it by yourself. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it by yourself. I don't know if that made any sense, but I'm saying you don't have to go with Silo. And no means is this something that we need everyone to be a part of. So, boom. I don't know I don't know if I just turned people off to Silo or gave a good pitch to Silo. Either way. Okay.
I think regardless of wherever that you're at, and you're trying to find the art and the creative and trying to bring it into York, competition it can be something that can turn you off. And by no means is what we do here or what the other arts organizations around here want to give off. And so I encourage you to feel the waters, test around. I mean, we have Silo here is what we have, and we're trying to do here and that might not be your niche, and that's okay, because there's other niches and other places that you can find. But regardless, we're all trying to do the same thing. And so there's not going to be a bad taste in anybody's mouth. There's not going to be any of those competitive kind of feelings. Regardless, we're all trying to bring art to York. So I encourage you, just baseline, just get out there, get involved, try to figure where you find the most comfortable, and that's where you can start. And if you can't find anything, start something of your own. By no means will we be the ones to tell you to stop, because we're here to help you, regardless of what they may be.
That was a way better condensed version of what I was trying to say. So thank you.
So I got you. That's why we work. We work each other, help each other out.
Fist pound. Gavin, next question. All right.
Hit me.
I need to know, how do you plan and achieve goals? Like, what is your work process on figuring out what is actually doable, and how do you plan that out?
So I'm a very hard advocate for planning things out with a calendar, and having checklists. And that's solely because I found within my own personal self that if I don't put the structure in place, with of course room to grow, then I will never achieve those things. And that's solely because I put the goals in mind, and then I feel like I've achieved them, but actually never actually put in the works to do it. And so the way that I achieve goals is I make sure, and I think this can be something that you can take a part of, regardless if you're a planner or if you're somebody that's a little more loose. I think everybody needs to have some sort of structure to build off of. And in fact, calendars and planners end up being more freeing because you're able to allocate time and things elsewhere. And it allows for you to be like, oh, I actually have like 5 hours today to do what I wanted to do that I never actually imagined in my mind that I'd have the time. So I'd say some just practical things to achieve your goals is to take a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be anything special, and actually write those goals out. Because if you actually can put them on a piece of paper, then you can actually like look at them and be like, this is something I want to achieve. And then it actually gives you something that you can give to other people to hold you accountable. Because I think that's the next step, is being able to share those goals with other people so they can hold you accountable, and allow for a timeline to be set in place. And things happen. I mean, COVID happens. Those timelines go awry, and sometimes it ends up working out for the best. Sometimes it doesn't. So I would say first, write them out, get some accountability, because that's huge and that's very key. And then I would say just start simple. Start with one of your goals that could be achieved within the week, and start building yourself up to bigger and better goals. Because if you can't achieve, wake up in the morning at 7 a.m., you can't achieve something that's even bigger and better than that. So you got to work at something smaller, something that you can imagine, and then work towards something bigger. So that's what I would say.
How do you have that hard conversation with someone of, hey, I want you to be like my accountability partner?
And I think it's a simple answer, but it's a hard answer because it requires you to be vulnerable. And I think in our world, vulnerability is a sign of weakness, which I strongly don't think it is. A lot of times in our lives, especially just the concept of it, we think vulnerable, we think that we're weak, we think that we're this, and that's right. We are weak during that moment, but it's through that moment that we become strong. And I think if we can't become vulnerable with somebody, then there's no room for you to achieve those goals. And that goes throughout, like, telling people of the struggles that you've gone through. Telling somebody, like, hey, this is something awful that I've did. Well, you won't be able to heal within that if you don't tell somebody about it. And so it's going to take a lot of courage and a lot of bravery, because I think that's why I think vulnerability is actually such a strong quality in somebody, is if you're able to tell somebody what you're going through, that's huge. And being able to be like, at the end of the day, I've done this, or I'm going through this, or I want to achieve this. It ends up allowing for that person to be like, wow, I wish I had that amount of strength. I wish I was able to get out there into the world and tell people that this is what I want to achieve.
Right.
Because I mean, that's how we started. I mean, we came with I was like, I don't know how this idea can function. This is something I want to happen. And then I was like, Austin, you're a really cool dude. Let's do something. And you're like, well, I don't know how to do this side of things. And we ended up becoming this really good friendship and bond that we never would have imagined if one of us would have not have taken that step. And I think that's a lot and a lot of things end up happening is you have to be vulnerable in order to achieve what you wanted to achieve.
Agreed. Yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Wisdom drops.
Ooh, mic drops every episode, dog.
Hot takes and mic drops.
That's what we like to call this episode.
Man.
And this podcast. So I would agree with you. I think for me, I was trying to think of this as you were speaking, and I'm trying to figure out what it's called in psychology because it's different. But it's when you take away something negative that it's intentionally placed on you. It's like negative reinforcement. Something like it's like a negative or positive. It's in the negative version of reinforcement. It's the one where you take away something negative. Positive punishment. No, negative punishment. You're no.
Voice of God. That's why there's some silence right now.
Yes, there's some silence right now because Voice of God is talking to me. Yes. Psychology terms. I was trying to think of the flip side of that. Okay, yes. So basically what I'm saying is I place a Post-it note on my wall, very easily visible to me, and it has my to-do list, like what you do. And it does not go away until all those things are checked off. So I'm annoyed that it's up there. So I'm like, okay, I got to do these things to get rid of this heckin' thing that's on my heckin' wall. And okay, one of them. But what I'm trying to say is that
what he's trying to say.
I tried to burden myself until I can do those things so that it's a constant reminder I have to do it. And sometimes that really hurts me because it goes for weeks with those on the wall. And then I have new things that I have to do. And that Post-it note comes down and then there's more. So everything else I agree with. I just wanted to plug in my thing as well.
Yeah, these are some great questions that we've gotten from.
And the next one comes from here. Let me pull out this piece of paper. Okay. Comes from Austin Gingrich. And he wants to know, Gavin, where does this fit from? What does this fit from?
Oh, yeah. So if you're just tuning in now, we strongly encourage you to listen and watch whatever it pleases you more. This is the Silo Podcast. And we are this season, thankfully, been blessed by Molly, who's the owner of Emmy Lean Vintage. And this is her back end of her vintage store. We've had a couple events here. And a lot of these hats that we're wearing right now is just from the racks of her store. If you like a lot of the things that you see in the background here or over the walls or the fits in the last 5 episodes, you might want to come here. It's in downtown York, 22 South Beaver Street. You want to be here. It's a cool thing. It's a fun thing. I mean, we've gotten out of our comfort zones while dressing up and being here. And another thing
we're big goofballs.
We are. And another thing is we're super thankful for Molly and Emmeline, but also Josh Vann, who provide us with the music that you hear in the beginning and the end of our podcast. We love it. It's such a vibe. And so all of his ads and Molly's ads will be at the bottom of the Silo podcast on Spotify as well on YouTube. And then we're also being blessed by having a producer this time because we have video, which is Devin Miller. And I think he should come out here and say hello.
He didn't expect this. Come like bow down right here for us.
Bow down.
You can't see yourself. We need to give him a special award. So he's coming on stage with a little award. You're gonna have to bow down. You probably got like this. He's going down the stairs. Oh my gosh, Devin, watch yourself. Okay, let me give this to you. All right.
No, that's for you.
Oh,
that's the award for best hot takes.
Oh no! What? I thought this was for you. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, my cup has been poured into. Thank you so much. Our producer, Devin Miller from Twin Rose Media. Check him out on his socials. We appreciate him. He's been doing a lot of behind the scenes work on this podcast for this season.
Next season.
So we're going to give him a mic for the next season so he can be the voice of God that booms in the podcast. So Devin, I give this back to you. We can share this together. And this is for best producer. Get a little thumbs up. We'll get a little screenshot of this. Yeah, exactly. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Picture taken. Ka-chink. Ka-tink. All right, see you, Devin.
Bye, Devin.
Get back up the stairs.
Devin,
perfect. No. Oh no, not our carpet. We produced this carpet. Oh. Not my lunch. Oh no!
If you're wondering why that analogy has come back, is because Austin licked the carpet a couple episodes ago. So
totally licked the carpet, right, guys? Totally.
All right. So we're thankful that you've listened to this new season. We're improving. We hope that you're improving as well. We're sharpening iron.
Yeah. If you didn't get your question answered today, I know we only covered like 2-ish from you guys. A lot of them are going to be answered actually in captions of our posts coming up.
Yeah.
So if you haven't already had your question answered in a post, we kind of like title them kind of what your question's about. So if that hasn't been discussed already, we'll discuss it on the next podcast season. But some are worth posts that everyone can see, and some are worth us sitting down and discussing for 15 minutes. So we want to make sure we discuss the questions accordingly. So you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for sending them in.
And if you want to see some new ideas for the next episode or next season, again, there's a cool little feature at the bottom of the Spotify as well as in our YouTube comments. Feel free to put in your questions and kind of chit chat with us. We always love to hear what you guys want to hear about on the podcast and within post, because all of your questions are valid and worth a response. And so we're thankful for it, and we're worth towards the end here. So yeah.
All right, Gavin, this is a little show and tell to end the episode.
Oh, man. All right.
What do you have on you that you want to show the guests?
Oh.
On you can be like in your pockets. I don't know what you got in your pockets.
Oh, okay.
Give me a show and tell.
Something practical.
Give me a show and tell.
So, for those that wear glasses or have, everybody has an iPhone, but if you're looking for something to clean really quickly, there's this blue towel that you can get at Walmart for like $1. And it is amazing. It's like a magic eraser that cleans your glasses. It cleans camera lenses, and it doesn't damage it because it's a softer fabric, which is great because there's no scratches, etc. So, yeah, I don't know what this is called. So, but
I think it's microfiber cloth.
I don't even think it's that. It's literally just like I think it comes in glasses, or you can buy them separately.
Okay. Yeah. Boom. That was a good show and tell. I got nothing. This was like straight up, just randomly. So obviously, all audio listeners, I was gonna say that was gonna be my topic. So obviously, audio listeners, He described that pretty well. That's exactly what it is. It's a blue little like 2-inch by 2-inch cloth.
Yeah.
What I got on is I left all my pocket stuff out from the set, but I'm gonna talk about my shoes. So these are just regular like desert-y boots, I guess, kind of more dressy style. I thrifted these for $5 in Harrisburg, and they've lasted so far a year. They're kind of starting to flake a little bit, but they're like my go-to like dressy shoes. So let's do a foot high five to finish it off, bro. Let's touch feet, because I know how much you like to touch feet. Ready? Get a good view of this, video listeners. 3, 2, 1, clap.
All right, there's clap.
Happy holidays, ladies and gentlemen.
Have an amazing one. Stay safe, stay creative, and stay beautiful.
Peace.
Peace.